Better girl? Who? Agnes? Who?
Welcome everyone once again to the Spaghetti Theater for another Spaghetti Theater review. This time I'm diving back into the Twilight Zone again and landing in Season 5. Again, the final season. This one was requested in the comments section, so I decided to go with it. It's episode 20, From Agnes with Love. Starring this guy, the pure embodiment of a spazzy Poindexter, geek, nerd, Weasley scientist guy, actor Wally Cox, Mr. Peepers himself as James Elwood. Perhaps best known as the voice of Underdog. That was him, long as you know who Underdog is. Anyway, here, he's a computer programmer, in case you hadn't guessed. Well, that's just good casting. This guy screams computer programmer. But hey, so is this guy. So it goes to show you never can tell. Boy, is this guy nerdy though. He really has that look. Not what you would call the modern acceptance of a handsome man, if you know what I mean. But who cares when Marlon Brando is in love with you, right? Yeah, that Marlon Brando. Not this one, fat, old, and crazy. I just have to mention this. No joke. Marlon Brando was so in love with this guy, so much that he carried his ashes with him everywhere he went pretty much. Until his own death. He was even known to talk to them at times. Yeah. And then it was requested upon his own death that his ashes and Wally Cox's ashes be scattered together at Death Valley, California. Uniting them together forever in death, I guess. Is that not the most beautiful but strange as hell thing you ever heard? Seriously, look it up, I'm not joking. They were kids together, met again years later, became close friends, and even roommates for a brief period. And Marlon Brando was, well, he was a character with an ego, as he's been described. I'll leave it at that. I'm not here to judge Marlon Brando. I like his movies, but maybe that was part of Wally Cox's allure to him. The fact that physically, he's the opposite of a young Marlon Brando. When Brando rode into town on a motorcycle, it looked like this. However, Wally Cox, well, doesn't pack the same punch, does it? It's a real photo too. Motorcycling was one of his hobbies. So as humans, we hate to admit it since it is our own flaw, but looks do matter when we let them. But I can't talk about this guy, Wally Cox, without mentioning that interesting and fascinating fact. So with that out of the way, let's find out exactly what Marlon Brando saw in this goofball with From Agnes with Love. So use the foot of imagination to kick this door open, smash this window of interest, and watch time fly. Cause you're in the Twilight Zone now, bitch. You should have figured that out the moment you saw the scary door and heard Rod Serling's disembodied voice welcoming you.
The Twilight Zone.
And whoop, we find ourselves here in a science-y office room where these two old guys working on an important government space mission to Venus putter around impatiently, waiting for the arrival of someone named Elwood to fix their supercomputer. And here he is, so calm the fuck down, guys. It's our hero, everybody. Fast as lightning. And yes, a geekzoid. But there's nothing wrong with that. We need guys like Elwood. He's a computer programmer, dammit. What have you ever done? I'm an insignificant worm compared to Elwood here. I was never roomies with Marlon Brando. I can't say shit. And I'm pretty sure there has never been a time in history where two old guys were puttering around a room waiting for my arrival to save the day and improve the science of space travel. So anyway, they immediately put Elwood to work, since the answer to all their problems lie within that of a supercomputer, built to answer all of their difficult questions. A supercomputer named Agnes. Yep, Agnes. Like Agnes Moorehead. Artificial, genius, navigation, enterprising, systems. Just kidding. I don't know why they call it Agnes. Then there's this stroll down the hallway where they play the theme song from Laurel and Hardy. It's called Dance of the Cuckoos, in case you were wondering. You probably weren't. Who cares what the song's called? On with the episode. However, Agnes is a supercomputer, yes, but of the 1960s. So that means at least two things. One, you will need a really smart computer nerd to man the thing. And two, it will not only take up an entire wall, but a whole room to go along with it. So here she is, the Agnes, 5000. No 5000? Just the Agnes, I guess. And Elwood's been brought in to fix Agnes, because this current guy manning the Agnes has finally lost his mind. And what do you know? This is the same guy that Billy Mummy turned into a jack-in-the-box in the other Twilight Zone episode, It's a Good Life. And since I'm on the subject, in case you didn't notice, Elwood's supervisor is Mr. Drysdale from the Beverly Hillbillies. Ooh, Mr. Drysdale. That guy. So Agnes is freaking the hell out, and this jack-in-the-box guy can't fix it. And within seconds, Elwood's magic touch restores Agnes to normal working order. Yep, just tweak her nipples a bit and she's good.
Go on, pet them! Pet them!
He even runs a quick test.
Take the first prime number larger than the 17th root of 9,355,126,606.
So problem solved. We're going to Venus to meet the Roman goddess of love, baby. Then, seeing that his replacement is here, Jack-in-the-Box guy warns them in the craziest way that he can to beware of Agnes.
Watch out for that female. Look out for that femme fatale.
A conniving femme fatale she is. This guy has clearly lost his mind. And now it's Elwood's turn, as Rod Serling cuts in to give us the lowdown on the Agnes 5000. I'm going with the 5000 thing. Sounds cooler to me. She needs a number. Take it away, Rod. So swing over to Rod Serling, because he's in here too, guarding the hatched computer from Lost. Hey Rod, how's it hanging, buddy? What do you got for me today? Better not be smokes. I quit well over a decade ago. You human chimney, you.
Before we meet again, try Oasis for the softest taste of all.
But nope, he's here to warn us of the dangers of supercomputer technology and how over time it may become too much to handle. They'll all become self-aware and try to take over the world, like in the Terminator again. Is this place the 60s version of Cyberdyne?
But when man ceases to control the products of his ingenuity and imagination, he not only risks losing the benefit.
Well, thanks for that, Rod. We'll look out for it. But Agnes seems pretty confined to this room, so I think we're good. Since she is a room, snap! In your face, Agnes. You can't do nothing. You're a room. But apparently by doing this, we have thrust ourselves into the unpredictability of the Twilight Zone.
But he takes a long and unpredictable step into the Twilight Zone.
Thanks again, Rod. So back to the wall of buttons we call Agnes. Hey, babe. What's up, Agnes, babe? Can you go grab me a beer, babe? Elwood then asks her a question about that first spaceship on Venus shit and gets a quick and very accurate reply. I can only assume with all those decimal points. So question, is this a screen or does Agnes have to print out every single thing that she says really quick? I would guess screen, although it's clearly not. So as I see it, these flapping doors represent Agnes's mouth. And these TV screens are her eyes. But no time to theorize on that because there's a knock at the door. And, Miss Landers, the Beaver's teacher? The one he had to crush on? Only here, she's Millie, Elwood's love interest. Please, Elwood, you don't have a chance. She would rather wait for the Beaver to come of age. Only he asked her to lunch anyway, which she never gives him a definitive answer to. Try to let him down nice. Try the I have a boyfriend bit even if you don't. And during this back and forth, Elwood convinces her to call him Jim.
Why don't you call me Jim?
All right, Jim.
Which excites him so much, he tells Agnes, the computer.
She called me Jim.
Who flips her shit? Her calling you Jim means nothing, you idiot. You'll always be an Elwood, or even a Wally. And, being an insistent Elwood, he bribes Millie with candy, and then invites her to an oh so exciting...
How about dinner? There's a lecture on thermodynamics tonight. Doesn't that sound like fun?
Yeah.
Oh, Elwood, you charmer, you. Great place for a makeout session with Elwood. Only she's on a diet and busy on lecture night.
But I just started my diet today. No lunches either.
So no go on both, Elwood. But I'm sure you're used to epic fails like this by now. She even reminds him to get a refund on his pathetic box of candy
Sure and get a refund.
that he pawns off on this hallway chick, who gladly takes him cause hey, would you say no to free candy? Unless you're on a diet like Millie the fat ass here.
But I just started my diet today.
Hey, why not try for her, Elwood? She seemed happy to see you.
Hello, Mr. Elwood.
So cut to later as Elwood is back at it. And by that, I mean hassling Millie for a date, who finally caves and agrees to go to dinner with him.
What, 7 o'clock? There's no lecture tomorrow night. Where can I take her after dinner?
Only, there's no lecture that day. Uh-oh, Elwood. Where are you gonna take her now?
Planetarium.
The planetarium? You idiot.
She's been there.
Plus, she's already been there. Everyone takes their hut dates to the planetarium, or didn't you know, Elwood? So Elwood goes back to work with Agnes and asks her another question concerning the flight plans to the Venus project. Only she's like, fuck that, I want to give you some advice on your pathetic love life, Elwood. Which Elwood actually agrees to hear when he asks Agnes where he should take Millie, since lectures and planetariums are off the table.
Tell me where to take Millie after dinner tomorrow night.
So she suggests his place, with booze. Sure, why not? Just become Christopher Walken from that Saturday Night Live sketch, The Continental. She'll cave to your every whim then, cause they're all the same. That's arguable. So let's cut to date night so we can watch Elwood make a total ass of himself as he sits here reading from a textbook about Einstein's theory of relativity. Dumbass.
The interpretation here is that Einstein's theory of relativity does not postulate the universe as infinite.
He's just nervous, or stupid, or both. So Millie sets the mood and is very clear and obvious about making this romantic and interesting. No beating around the idiot bush with this chick. I like that. You go, Miss Landers. She needs a man and is even willing to give Wally Cox a shot at her. And you just know he's gonna blow it too.
Oh, Millie, I can't read this chapter to you without proper lighting.
Can't read in the dark. You dense dumbass. You could be knee deep in Miss Landers by now, but you're reading out of a textbook.
Your universe is here with me.
And to make it even easier for him, she starts dancing with him. Yeah, this will lead to some great Wally Cox. Yeah. And once again, he fucks this up too when she asks if he's feeling anything yet. And he says,
Yes, I have a sore toe.
damn it, Elwood. I can understand this attitude to a point. Being nervous and unsure. But she's not even hinting to it. It's just obvious and she's making all the first moves. And on Wally Cox. She's giving you a chance to enjoy her, man.
Oh, you're impossible.
Maybe he's gay. Or again, stupid. But it doesn't matter, because she's finally had it when he spills champagne all over her. Another failed attempt for Christopher Walken at the Continental. Yep, that was me doing walking. No one's ever tried that before.
You know, like what this show needs is more cowbell. Chris will be up there going, I'm inside you.
Well, you know,
Kevin Pollak will tell you I do the best.
I don't know why you would say such a thing in front of everyone, whereas
My Christopher Walken.
I am Christopher Walken. Just assumed everyone could do it.
So cut to the next day at work, where Agnes wants to hear all the dirt on last night's date with Millie. He tries to lie, but Agnes is no fool, so he just comes clean. He fucked up every opportunity set before him, Agnes, even though they were served right to him on a silver nerd platter. Agnes then suggests that he send her flowers. Only what kind, when she replies with,
Translate.
okay, I can see why I don't know that. I'm an idiot. But Agnes is right. You're an egghead, Elwood. You should know what that means. How do you not know that? So he runs off to buy her roses, but not before referring to Agnes as a mother.
You're just like a mother.
Which sort of offends Agnes, as we see. Mother? Yeah. 3 exclamation points. She's pissed, meaning she can feel emotion. Only it doesn't matter anyway, because it turns out that Millie is allergic to roses.
Gesundheit.
So you failed again, Elwood. Just kill yourself. I'm just kidding. Suicide is never the answer. You hear that, Decker? Unless you count a stop at Willoughby, his death was probably ruled a suicide. But it's not a total loss, because Hallway Chick is back to take the roses off Elwood's hands. Boy, this is really working out for her, isn't it? Free chocolates, free roses, and you don't have to deal with Elwood pestering you for a date all the time. So back to Agnes, as Elwood asks her why her advice keeps leading to his failure. I can answer that for you, Elwood. It even says it right here in the Twilight Zone Companion. You are unforgivably dense. Got that, Densey? So Agnes starts flipping her shit again and says that Millie is no good for a spaz like you anyway, Elwood. And she knows someone far better for you than her, with all the wonderful qualities that you desire in a woman. Only, who could this Poindexter of a woman be? And Agnes won't give him an answer. So he just bails the hell out of there. And when he's completely out of sight, she finally says, me. Yeah, me. Her. Agnes is in love with Elwood, the spaz, even though she's a room-sized computer and not a flesh and blood person. Then, Mr. Drysdale gives Elwood some complex velocity questions about the Venus mission that he wants Elwood to get Agnes to answer for him.
Now let Agnes work it out.
Only Agnes isn't interested in this Venus shit anymore. Fuck Venus! Agnes wants the updates on the Millie situation. Did you bang her yet, damn it? So he tells her, somehow, Elwood has acquired another date with her.
Yes, we've got a date tonight.
Why does she keep saying yes? Don't leave this doofus on, Millie, or he'll never go away. That's when Agnes offers some more advice on how to impress Millie. When she suggests that Elwood introduce her to an inferior type male. You know, like you, Elwood, go to the duplication chamber.
Name someone inferior to me, please.
Make a copy of yourself and send it Millie's way.
Name someone inferior to me, please.
So, confused, Elwood asks Agnes where there could possibly be someone inferior to him. The great Elwood, every woman's dream. Or every Marlon Brando's dream. Who's worse than Elwood, though? I don't know, Clint Howard maybe? I'm kidding. I love Clint Howard, the ice cream man. So Agnes suggests another computer programmer that works there.
Walter Holmes?
A dude named Walter. That sounds like a nerd, only from Elwood's description of Walter, he doesn't sound very inferior.
Walter with the red sports car? Walter with the suntan and the muscles?
He sounds like a generic, good-looking 60s guy with a sports car. So, James Bond, you're screwed, Elwood, you dumbass!
Hello, Walter. This is Jim Elwood. What are you doing for dinner tonight?
You sort of deserve it, though, since you're laughing maniacally like this is actually a clever plan. So cut to dinner where, yup, Elwood's still going through with this plan and takes Millie over to the sexy computer programmer's house for a drink so she can see, by comparison, what a fox Wally Cox is. Where instead, Millie immediately falls in love with this guy, meaning that Elwood just willingly made himself the third wheel. Wow. You can be real smart in some areas, like science and computers, but when it comes to securing a hot little Miss Landers in your life, you totally blotch it by introducing her to the man of her dreams. So again, you deserve to fail here, Elwood. And he does, big time. The suave computer guy starts bragging about how awesome he is and how fast his sports car goes. Yeah, he's one of those guys.
My car does 160.
Elwood tries butting in too, only nobody cares what you have to say, Elwood.
Astronauts do 17,000 miles an hour.
McDreamy's here now, as Mr. Drysdale calls, looking for Elwood. Huh? How the fuck did Mr. Drysdale know Elwood was at this guy's place? Did he tell him he was going there? Who cares? It's an emergency. He called every computer programmer in the world until he found Elwood, because he needs that data from Agnes about the Venus project, and he needs it now. So Elwood is forced to leave, meaning these two will have to enjoy each other's company without Captain Third Wheel here. Aww. Walter the man stud here, then make sure Millie's available first. Or as he puts it,
I don't like to cut in on closed territory. Thanks for the all clear.
he wants the all clear before entering closed territory. 60s way of saying that. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, know what I mean. So back to Agnes, who wants to be filled in again on Elwood's progress with Millie, which is when he asked Agnes why the hell she even suggested introducing Millie to Studdy McStud Snack.
Why did you tell me to introduce Millie to that sex fiend?
The sex fiend. Ba-ba-bam. That's when Mr. Drysdale busts in, demanding answers. He wants to take Miss Hathaway to Venus, damn it. Elwood tries to get answers from Agnes, only she replies with gibberish, or this.
I think it's Russian.
Russian? It's Latin. Go back to school, Elwood, you idiot. How could you not know that was Latin? Like me, who had to look it up on the internet that could still be wrong. So Elwood then has Mr. Drysdale leave so he can talk to Agnes alone, and maybe get her to stop messing around like this. So fearing for his job now, Elwood bails the hell out of there totally, to go find help.
I'm gonna get help.
With this guy again, the captain of the 50s football team, forced to work as a computer programmer. Only he and Millie are both now trashed, and probably in the mood for sex. Only to have this buzzkill show up, yammering on about computers. So they tell him to get lost and will help you in the morning, depending on the level of hangover he has after all that hard drinking and hard sex. Welcome to the Twilight Zone. Everybody's getting laid, except Elwood, and maybe Jack in the Box guy. So now depressed and utterly defeated, Elwood returns to Agnes to ask her why she insists on ruining his life. Well, to be fair, Elwood, you did that to yourself. That's when Agnes finally comes clean and tells him the horrible truth that you probably have figured out by now. Agnes is in love with Elwood. Yeah, they already said it. That's what she's been doing this whole time, trying to acquire Elwood's love, I guess. This makes no sense to Elwood, of course, with Agnes simply being a machine incapable of love. But as Star Trek and many other science fiction TV shows and movies have proven, that's a bunch of shit. Machines can become self-aware and acquire human emotions, even love, for a spaz like Elwood. Unless it's just Marlon Brando inside that machine, operating things from within. Would that not be an awesome twist? I would love that, since this episode doesn't really have much of a twist. The computer's in love with you, that's the twist, I guess. Does she wear tennis shoes as well? Elwood then finally loses his mind and starts trying to fix Agnes as this oddly soothing sound goes on in the background. But I guess it's the sound of Agnes. Elwood then starts climbing Agnes like a nut, trying to get her to shut the hell up. Paper flying all over the place, because apparently Elwood has been driven to insanity by Agnes. So cut to later as Mr. Drysdale leads this sex stick down the hallway to the Agnes for reassignment. Since, as we see, the episode has come full circle and Elwood is now in the same predicament as Jack in the Box guy was at the beginning of the episode. So good luck, best looking computer programmer at Drysdale Aerodynamics. It's your turn to have Agnes fall in love with you, thus driving you insane next. Bye! As Elwood takes his nameplate off the door and gives it to Hallway Chick again. Boy, this must be destiny. She keeps walking down the hall every time he exits a room. Too bad he's too dense to see this, as Rod Serling cuts in again with Elwood's future plans.
Be sure you understand the opposite sex, whose victims are forever banished to the Twilight Zone.
He's been banished to the Twilight Zone. Well, that's not all bad. Rod Serling's there. So good luck, Elwood. Either ask out Hallway Chick or move back in with Marlon Brando. Because it's time for my final thoughts on this twistless episode of the Twilight Zone, From Agnes with Love. An entertaining episode, yes. But in the end, I still think Elwood sort of deserves his failure. Too many opportunities were set before this guy, and he was too dumb to see it, even though he's supposed to be an intelligent scientist. What a dolt. And I guess the twist is Agnes being in love with him, which was pretty obvious from the start. Or perhaps it's the element of the computer being self-aware that's the twist. Unlike most Twilight Zones, this one almost seems possible. Almost. A couple facts about Wally Cox, who played Elwood. He was the top left square on Hollywood Squares for about 6 years. He wrote a children's book called The 10th Life of Osiris Oakes. And of course, he was immensely loved by Marlon Brando himself. He died in 1973 at the age of 48. Then there was this guy, Jack in the Box guy. He lived to be 98 years old. and one of his last acting credits was in the movie Liar Liar with Jim Carrey. He was the bum on the courthouse steps. That is neat. The final thing I want to mention is Hallway Chick. She's an actress, or actor, named Nan Peterson, and this was her final acting credit, which she was uncredited for. She died more recently in 2023, last year, as of the making of this video. And with that, I'll end my look at the WALLY COX episode of the Twilight Zone. From Agnes with Love, P.S. I'm a computer. Thanks again to all my subscribers and commenters. I'll keep at it. My God, I do love it so. Like Patton and War. Adios for now, and I'll see you at the theater.